Tanya from YWCA Nursery, and today we are talking about some fall garden planting, or garden fall planting, however the heck you want to say it, but more importantly, we're actually going to talk a little bit about maintenance. So when I think about the garden, I actually divide it into two sets. Trees, shrubs, and evergreens. We're going to look at that in the middle, or we're going to look at that in a minute. And then the other thing I think about is ornamental grasses and perennials. Part of my ornamental grass and perennial thought process involves bulbs. And at this time of year, absolutely get those bulbs in the ground. We've got a great selection, but the neat thing is there's a whole bunch that are really nice and deer resistant, rabbit resistant, and squirrel resistant. So things like daffodils, hyacinths, and alliums, the squirrels and the critters don't like. So it's that much easier. For some of us though, fall and bulbs are all about tulips, like this Angelique. Love, love, love Angelique. She's beautiful. And for the pollinator insects, fall is actually about crocus. So we get our crocus in the ground. This one is one of the best ones for bees because it's one of the earliest things to come up that they can feed on. So for those honeybees that are just the eager beaver and waking up way too early, we can now feed them. When you're putting your fall bulbs in the ground, I want you to do your perennial maintenance. So when we're thinking about perennial maintenance, I'm looking at the ornamental grasses, black-eyed Susans, coneflowers, sage, and the sedums, and you're gonna do nothing. Just leave them up. It's so easy, leave them up. One of the reasons we want to do that is because the beneficial insects and the solitary bees live in the leaf litter. They also live in all the stems of the perennial. So we want to provide that really nice 5-star hotel to make sure they come back. Super, super easy. The only thing I would recommend is if you've got some diseased leaves. So this year we've seen a lot of powdery mildew and leaf spot on our plant stock. So if we take a look at a sedum here, this is one I do want to cut back. Why do I want to cut back? Because, well, I know shape's not really great, but more importantly, looking at it, it's got just a titch of powdery mildew, and this is not a fungus that I want in the garden next year. So when I cut it back, it's actually going to be super, super easy. And I am going to leave those stalks really, really big. So all I'm going to do is cut the stems down just like this, right? So super fast and super easy. But I've also left the stalk fairly high, and if you look at it, they're actually going to be hollow, and this is where the insects are going to live. So I've still left enough of a hotel. So for perennials and bulbs, get those bulbs in the ground. Do so little with your perennials, but if your perennials do have a little bit of a disease on the leaf, cut them back, leave the stems long, and get the product out. The only other thing you want to do is if you've got some diseased leaves, get some dusting sulfur on the ground because this will prevent the spores from jumping back up onto the plant next spring. So hopefully that helps. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.